Well, good morning, guys and gals. It's me, George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man. And I'm here and I'm preparing to work on the Goofy card. I know it's been a while, but you know how it is. Chicken coops and then chickens themselves and carports. All of these things seem to take a priority over the Goofy cart. And but now the time has come. We have, as you can see, I have everything all laid out here. And not only do I have everything laid out, I also have my brains on the wall in front of me. And this is not going to be a how-to, but it's going to be a how I did it. You can see I have the diagram of the parts laid out right there so that I can do it without forgetting which goes where. And this is going to be a messy process because we're going to be using this red and tacky grease to assemble it with before we get to the final part where we will actually put it together, put the two halves together to make it a one whole. And just before I put the top on, we will be filling it up about halfway or a third of the way with gear oil. And we got some 80, 90 weight gear oil, and that's what we'll be using to finish putting it together. I've cleaned all of my gears. Let me back up a little bit here. I've cleaned all of my gears and have everything in order the way it's going to go. These have a thrust washer that goes inside of each one like that, and there is a front side and a back side. And how I know the way it goes is I could tell by looking at the gears where the wear point is, so that the concave side points up as I have them orientated right now. And there's one for each gear set, as you can see there. And then finally there's one on the bottom. And all of that will be going on this shaft right here. This is our main shaft. And I have cleaned it all. And you can see that these gears here don't really move. They are the drive gears, but they are selected by this slide piece that goes through here. And depending on where it is, which gear you're in. Okay? And that is controlled by this sleeve, which goes on here like that, and ultimately that is controlled by this fork, which is the fork that actually swings off the top of the transmission. You'll see all of that as we go along. So the first thing for me to do is I need to put some grease down inside here. And then after I get the grease on into these bearings down in here, and there's two of them, there's one set on the inside, one set on the outside, and they're spaced out probably a half an inch between the two. And I'm going to fill that in pretty good with grease, and then I'm going to be putting in some seals. That's the beauty of this transmission over the 3-speed transmission, which you see sitting back here. That's the one we took out right there. And it did not have a seal on the bottom. So transmission fluid had a tendency to leak out. So let's get to it. I'm going to set this up here in my vise. And I probably need to have some paper towels in hand. If I was smart, which I'm not particularly, I probably would put this glue thing into a regular grease gun, but I'm not that smart. And I have learned in the process that there are several differences, at least that I have observed, between this transmission and the one that Stacy at Twisted R Racing uses. His must be modified for racing, because this one here does not have a bearing that actually goes in here. It has a thrust washer like this that goes down on there. You'll see that as I put it in. I got to keep packing this up, and you can see it's coming down through the bottom, which is a good thing. But I want to make sure that these bearings are well greased. And well packed, because until the gear oil gets moving around, the grease is the only thing that's going to lubricate these. Okay, so I think I have sufficient on there. Let me set this down on here. Hopefully it'll stay like that. And it's called red and tacky. Well, it is tacky. It's slimy too, which is a good thing in this case. So now I want to wipe this off, and I want to wipe down just inside of there. So now I'm going to put my seal in, and I think I want to put this down on the bench to put the seal in. And there are two sides to the seal. There's one side that's kind of hollow. I don't know if you can see that real well. You see that? Yep. And the other side is flat. Well, the flat side goes to the outside, like that. And it just pushes down in there. And Stacy put 2 on his. I don't know if I have room for 2 on mine. We're going to try. If 1 is good, 2 has got to be better. I think that probably will work. So now I need the input shaft, or output, input shaft. This is the input shaft. You can see it's all been cleaned, and it's going to go down this way, and I'm going to put the snap ring on here. See that groove right there? Has a groove at the top which holds on your gear. It has another groove here for a snap ring which holds this in place, and then you come down into here and there's another groove down here, but that's not where the snap ring goes. The gear goes on here first, and then the snap ring that holds the gear in place. So this one and this one here hold this in place in the case. So let me do a little smearage here. Get this well lubricated again. And we only need it on the part that goes down through the bearings. And I said I was going to put that snap ring on, didn't I? I did say that. And see? That's why I said This is how I did it, how I'm doing it, not how you should do it. And I've made 2 mistakes in a row here. Okay. I think that's in place there. No, it's not. There it is. There, it's snapped into place. You see the top seal came out when I pulled this out. It doesn't sit down in there real good. But I need to put this thrust washer on here as well. Need to put that on there. Then I can try putting this seal in. And I don't know. It doesn't go in all the way. The one that belongs in there. There we go. Now it's down in there. I don't know if that second seal is actually going to help me or not. But it's there. Yeah, and you can see it's sitting up off of there a little bit. I don't know, we'll see what happens now when I go and put the try to put the gear on. Have to hold that up in place. And I have already put grease down in there. And you can see all the stuff that came up around it. So that's well greased in place there. Now we won't even clean our fingers off. We'll grab the input gear. And I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to be up in there far enough. No, I'm going to have to take that second grease fitting out, the grease seal out of there, oil seal. On the racing transmission that Stacy did, he was able to put 2 seals down there, and well, I tried, but it's not working. Let me put my glasses on, and I just stuck my I think I just stuck my finger right in the middle of my lens. Yeah, I don't think. Maybe. Let me see if I can put my snap ring on there. You may get bored with this, and that's okay. This isn't a video for everybody. This is as much a video for me as it is for anybody else, so that I can look back in case I make a mistake somewhere. And I can see where I would see where I would have made the mistake. It did snap in, so we will leave that second grease fitting in there, a grease seal. That's a good thing. And we're going to coat that gear very well. Don't be stingy with the grease. And while I'm at it, I'm going to put some in this boss that holds the shifter. So we have our first part done, and now the next thing to do is I have to put some gasket maker around these areas here where my bushings will go. And these bushings have a little notch on them. See that? They sit down in a notch here. That little ear fits down in there so these won't rotate once they're in place. So to make this oil tight, or at least as oil tight as it can be, I'm going to put a little gasket maker down in here on all 4 of those. And I guess while I'm at it, I could just spread that gasket maker all the way around. It won't matter if it sets up a little bit before I get the gears in place and all that good stuff. Get the grease off of here.